taking a walk from here to our apartment, and we'll be talking about the 49ers, Kyle Shanahan, and how he's adapted and how he's evolving the offensive system to fit Brock Purdy's skill set. Dobrý den. They're very stern here, but they were cool with me starting the live in there. I think they were. Anyway, it's Golden Hour in Prague. Perfect name for a little 49ers show, right? That's called Náměstí Republiky behind me, or the Square of the Republic. And as you can see, it is golden hour indeed. I think it's 8 o'clock here, so 11 o'clock on the Pacific Coast. I'm going to try to take back streets as much as possible. They call it the Hotel Paris, where I was at, with that ornate decor, because it's built like something that existed in Paris, or still exists in Paris, but was built in Paris in the 1800s, looks like. Cool part of Prague is that you've got all kinds of architecture just kind of sandwiched into one spot. This is Parisian architecture. Oh, there you have medieval architecture. So it's all kind of within a stone's throw of each other, and it didn't get destroyed in World War II. So it's all been preserved. Also, it's in the middle of Europe geographically, so you just naturally have the different styles. So it's like all of Europe in one. It's versatile. You know, Prague is like a Kyle Shanahan offense in that you've got positionless skill positions. 49ers have fullbacks who can play wide receiver and tight end and running back. And then they have players who can, receivers who could take handoffs. They have running backs who can catch the ball out of the backfield. It's all an important part of how the 49ers operate. The versatility means that it's harder for them to defend. And I just realized that's a good metaphor for this city. It's hard to contend with Prague because of its versatility. Anyway, we're gonna make the walk. We might even get on the metro on the way. This is probably the most ambitious live that I've done as far as city walks go, just because there's a lot of tourists. But I'll be flipping the camera a lot to give you guys a view of the streets here. We're in Old Town, and we'll begin talking about the 49ers. You know, talk about versatility. I think the 49ers are trying to keep that offensively, but they're shifting to more of a pass-based versatility than a run-based versatility. You know, the whole thing about Brock Purdy is that he has been very, very able to open up the full range of the 49ers pass game because of his ability to just, it's not about arm strength per se, but it's about accuracy and the ability to time throws over the middle of the field that allow the precision attack of the 49ers intermediate game to really thrive. This is something that I don't think is really apparent when you're watching on television, but when you're at a game in person, and then when you watch the all 22 film-wise, it is really, really apparent that Brock Purdy has sensational timing. I mean, and sometimes timing has to be paired with that accuracy and with touch on the throw. I mean, the throw can't just be on time to the right spot. The trajectory of the throw, which is determined by the touch of the throw over the middle, is what's required for that throw to push over the middle linebacker. And that's why Purdy registered the highest yards per attempt of any quarterback in documented NFL history last year on throws that traveled from 10 to 20 yards downfield. So when you had that kind of efficiency for the 49ers, the natural reaction for Kyle Shanahan and company has been to increase the volume. By the way, hey, we're walking through Prague. Tomorrow, my dad runs a marathon here in Prague, and the marathon route is going to be absolutely epic. It's going to start and finish at Old Town Square, which you can see right here. They're getting the barricades ready for the marathon. So my wife and I are here. We're staying at the Hotel Paris that I just showed you. Please don't stalk us now that you know where I'm staying, but we're staying at the Hotel Paris. So I just walked out, and we're going to be able to watch my dad crisscross through Prague. They have rolled out the red carpet for this marathon. The runners are going to be able to be at the very nicest parts of town. So I've already thought of how am I going to document this on video. I'm obviously not going to run 26 miles with him, but I will be able to post up at certain spots and get really cool backdrops. So this is part of the marathon track here in Prague, and look, all of a sudden, you're gonna have an old Gothic cathedral. So my dad, yes, he's a 49ers fan, loves watching the Niners. He's gonna be running in this marathon here in Prague tomorrow. I think it's gonna be his 5th marathon. He has run Boston, which is a really big deal, and now he gets to run an international one here in Prague. Let me get out of these guys' way before they run me over. So I mentioned Old Town Square, and this is it right here as we make our live walk through the city. That is the Old Town Hall, all the Old Town Square. I told you guys this was an ambitious live because of all the tourists, but it is golden hour. We do get to talk about the 49ers in arguably the most beautiful spot in the world. They do like American football in Prague. I am going to an American. Here's the craziest thing about all of this. They have an American football team in Prague. They are coached by a 49ers fan from Northern California. His name is Spencer Ford. I wrote an article about them for The Athletic. That article it came out several months ago, but that article is leading me to go attend their game tomorrow. They're playing an Austrian team. The Prague Black Panthers are playing an Austrian team. So American football here in the Czech Republic. And the game starts at 3 p.m. Sunday tomorrow. So I'm going to go check it out after I see my dad run a marathon. He's going to start in this square, Old Town Square. And he's going to finish in this square. You have the big stands behind me. My grandparents got married in that church, the white one with the green top behind me. And if we spin around this way, we can see the Old Town Hall. And what's really cool, you see how this building got cut off on the right? Prague only got hit by one bomb during World War II. The one bomb was, it wasn't targeted. The one bomb was an American bomb. The Americans were accidentally targeting, they were targeting Dresden on purpose for the big fire bombing. But this was before advanced radar. One of the bombers went off course and accidentally mistook Prague for Dresden and dropped the bomb right here and took out this building. That's why the red part of this building is so awkwardly skinny, because the building used to stretch over here. So the one bomb narrowly missed taking out this tower and narrowly missed taking out this square, which is where my dad's marathon is going to finish tomorrow. Now, it's a good thing that bomb barely missed this tower, because the most famous astrological clock in the world is right here. This thing goes off every hour. I think it just went off a few minutes ago, but it's extremely famous. You've seen it, I'm sure, in Visa commercials and all the sorts, and it survived World War II, just like almost everything in Prague did. All right, we move on. We talk more Niners. If you got any questions, I'm about to get into what I hope is going to be a quieter area so we could talk a little bit more. But as you can see, Prague is a very architecturally adaptable city with the massive cathedrals, the beautiful golden hours, and then the Gothic streets. And it's a great place to talk about the 49ers. I'm heading to our apartment right now. I'm going to go for a swim. My wife is tired. Margot is sleeping. We just went around the countryside today. I fed her fried cheese and I fed her a beer, and then she gets really tired whenever that happens. So it's good. It gives me some time to go out and do some lives. Check this out. Got a little pizzeria here. We turned down. Quiet alley. Let those people have dinner. You get these little small, it's called Pizzeria Giovanni. You get these little small streets, small alleyways, and you can avoid the tourists, which is perfect. And I grew up living here every summer, so I know the spots to go. And this is where we could talk about Niners, and we could check in on these guys who are having a good time drinking. These guys are having a great time. If only they knew I was live and we had hundreds of 49ers fans watching, it'd be good. Yeah, there is some graffiti on the walls here, but I feel the back streets, that's where they can get it, right? But now I'm going to be back out on a main street and it won't be nearly as bad. I got one more turn here. All right, pop in your questions. I mean, I think that the main thing about this 49ers offense that is changing, that they called 109 pass plays in the postseason. They only called 77 run plays. So this is no longer a run-first offense. I think it's really clear that Kyle Shanahan is shifting this to be a pass-first offense. But the theme of the video here is adaptability. And the 49ers are absolutely going to stay as adaptable or try to be more adaptable than they were in the past. We got all these British stag parties. They come in here from London because it's a lot more funnier than London. They're all in town. You can see the clock tower behind me. That's where we came from. And we're going to make our way to the metro. I think that you guys will get to ride the subway with me. So we keep on going. So I think the adaptability now is just going to be more focused on the pass game because Brock Purdy is able to do that with how good he is at throwing the football, especially over the middle of the field. Now, somebody the other day said, Purdy's getting stronger. Yes, he is. He's tried to add some muscle. He's going to be physically stronger. And somebody said, that's going to allow him to throw the deep ball better. That's going to be another part of his game. It was the worst part of his game last year. It's like, pay attention. What the hell are you talking about? He had the highest deep pass completion percentage on documented record last year. He completed 60% of his throws of 20 yards or more. So the deep pass was already on point for Brock Purdy last year. I just think that it could get better, and I think that it could be a continual part of his repertoire if they continue improving the receiving core, which they have done by drafting Ricky Pearsall and Jacob Cowing, who's a burner who can move really fast as well. Here's some Prague street food. Let's check it out. A little medieval bread rolls with cinnamon or sugar. Not cinnamon, that's pure sugar. All right, we move on. So Purdy's, by the way, this is like an old school medieval market. I don't have that much time right now, but so I'm not going to walk up and down the market plus, I think. Well, yeah, some of the shops are still open. But some of these churches, especially the ones that are like asymmetrically built on the intersections, they're like really cool, visually pleasing. This looks like a COD map, Call of Duty. The city looks like a map from that video game. It probably was a map in one of the Call of Duty games, but the way that they built these old streets, and you guys saw me kind of sneaking through that little back alley. You can see a lot of potential video game inspiration here. I've normally done these walking lives, like I did one in Brussels because I wasn't familiar with Brussels. Maybe it wasn't smart that I did it at 5 a.m. for you guys, talking about the Niners there. But here in Prague, I can do it with a flood of tourists around me. If you look over behind me, that green building, like light green, that's a theater concert hall where Mozart used to perform in that concert hall. So now, like, if you want to go watch a concert there, you could watch you could listen to some of Mozart's music, and guys who are dressed like Mozart, they got wigs on. They're trying to sell you his tickets outside. I guess they're not his tickets. He's been dead for a few hundred years, but still a cool little experience. Look at all of these stag parties. This is awesome. This one is huge. Look at all those guys. They're all dressed like prohibitionists from the 20s. By the way, stag party, it's a fancy way. It's British English for bachelor party. And you see a ton of those here in Prague. These guys are ready for a good night. As we make our way, this is like the Champs-Élysées of Prague. They call it Wenceslas Square. So it kind of opens up over there into the National Museum. So many historical events have been here, including their revolution when there was a revolution to end that. In 1989, they had millions of people filling up this square. All right, really cool stuff. We're gonna continue. We're gonna head down into the subway. And we're gonna talk some more about the Niners. If you guys have any football related questions, let me know. Mike, go ahead and send them to me too. Gotta take the stairs over here. I think, it is important for the 49ers to get the pass protection back up to at least 2022 levels. I think it took a step down in 2023. And if you give Purdy a little bit more time, especially if you're moving to more of a pass-first focus as the 49ers, then the sky really is the limit. Okay, I've got to buy a ticket. By the way, you walk into a subway station here, just really casually. This is from like the year 900 AD. They found like ruins that were the original city. And then they, as they were digging the subway, so they're like, okay, we'll have a cool display, and then we'll put escalators right by them. We got a ticket machine here. So guys, give me a second. I have to order my ticket. There we go. All right. The best time to visit Prague is the Prague Spring right now, April or May. Prague Spring is a great time to visit. So we're getting on line A. Hopefully we don't lose reception. Do I think that Pearsall and Purdy are compatible? I think anybody who could beat man coverage is compatible with Brock Purdy. So yes, I think that Ricky Pearsall is compatible with Aaron Pearsall. It's funny. Aaron Pearsall was a great backstroker, was a swimmer back in the day. So yes, I do believe that Purdy is going to be compatible with Ricky Pearsall, both from Arizona. Obviously, I don't think that has much to do with what the compatibility on the field is going to be, but it's still cool that they played against each other. The teams played against each other in high school. I think Brock's high school put up 70 on Ricky Pearsall's high school. Ricky's a great man beater, meaning that, he could do it from the outside. He could play from the inside as well. I think that his speed on the outside, 4.4 speed, combined with his route running ability and ability to beat man coverage, kind of lines up to be a quarterback's best friend. He has been a QB's best friend before, and the thought from talent evaluators is that he can be Brock Purdy's best friend at the NFL level, even if he's not the 49ers' top receiver. There is a realistic hope that he's going to be somebody that is really able to give San Francisco that security blanket, yet another security blanket. I think we're going to get on the subway right now. Let's see. No, wrong side. So the subway stations in Prague are works of art. Take a look at this. You see a train over here on the other side. We're going to take this 2 stops, and we'll be in the deepest subway station in Europe, which was built as a nuclear shelter, to double as a nuclear shelter during the Cold War. You guys are going to be amazed by how deep this subway station is. By the way, these subway cars right here, these are the former Soviet era subway cars, but they're refurbished now. So these are pieces of history as well. All here on line A of the Prague Metro, which I think is kind of it's a museum and you go to America and the public transit infrastructure just isn't what it is here in Europe, but obviously a lot more scenic here in Europe. All right, so that was a good question about Ricky Pearsall. I agree. I think that he's going to be a good security blanket for Brock Purdy. I think that the way that Pearsall runs routes, he's extremely diligent too. So I think that they're not worried about how he's going to study the tape. I think that they they believe in his ability to translate to the NFL level as far as the knowledge of the route trees goes. It's not easy. In college, you're typically playing one position and you need to know all the variations of that one position playbook wise. It's a lot tougher in the NFL, especially in Shanahan's system, because you've got the X, you've got the Z receiver, you've got the F receiver. In Shanahan's system, you've got to be able to play all of the receiver spots. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to know the playbook at every single one of the positions. And because of that, you see guys that are young get tripped up learning the system sometimes. It takes a while for them to start getting the targets that you think they might deserve. I think that Brandon Ayuk was a great example. You got to be able to execute every single one of those spots with complete precision at full speed. And that means knowing the playbook at a very high level. So our train is coming right now. It's about to get really loud. It's gonna be a good shot right here. Hopefully it doesn't blow the phone out of my hand. There we go. And we're gonna get on this. I am banking on not losing reception over the two stations, or at least in between the stations, but I probably will stay quiet while I'm on the train. So just give me a little bit of time here. All right, we've got one more stop. If I can talk when I'm out of the train, I don't want to be pointing my camera up when I'm in this thing. One more, and then we got the deepest station in Europe. So I'm just going to stand in the back here. Yes, it's better than BART.
Tak záleží na tom, Vlastně to rozmašíruji, asi si lehne. Musí ty policajti zdokumentovat všechno. A pak ty musí odpovědět. Ne. Ale záleží, když to bude na stávce, tak když to bude někde. Musíš pod semíru. Tak to by bylo tam nechápat.
All right, we made it. I'm off the train. Thanks for waiting. Hopefully those weren't two very awkward minutes, as I couldn't raise my phone and I couldn't talk in the subway, but figured there's only 2 stops. And again, I think the architecture of this subway station is even cooler. We'll see this train leave. This is, I think, built in 1980, so it's still very Cold War time, and we are deep beneath the ground. And you will see right now just how long it takes to get up this escalator. I feel that this escalator right here will give you an appreciation. And it might even be a little bit windy as we get up the escalator. I want it to be as quiet as possible, given the wind, so I'm waiting for the people from my train to get on the escalator, since there's quite a few of them. That way we have the thing to ourselves, and it's not too windy to talk Niners. So go ahead and keep on dropping your questions in, because we've got a little bit of a ride coming here. Why don't you take a look at this? Yeah, it's gonna be a little while. We've got a couple minutes here. Again, when this was obviously occupied by the Soviet Union during the Cold War, so they built this as a nuclear shelter, this subway station. You could come, I think it's 100 meters underground, so it's over a football field underground, and yes, it is steep. We are working our way up. They're fixing the tracks over on this side. Like, this is the length of a long escalator in America, and we're about a third of the way up. We still got quite a ways to go. And it's not just Wi-Fi working down here, it's cell reception working down here. So the fact that I'm doing a live on an escalator in Prague, one of the deepest escalators in the world, the fact that I'm able to do a live throughout the whole damn thing, I think is really impressive. As you can tell, we're picking up that altitude right now, or I guess we're losing negative altitude, because we are over a football field underground. We still got about a third of the escalator to go. All right, so sometimes I can't see the questions coming through because I'm balancing a lot of things. So if you have a really important question, don't be afraid to ask it again. My cell phone service is whatever the country's best cell phone service is. I got AT&T, but I have the international day pass, so I'm just using data right now. Yeah, if I tripped here and fell to the bottom, it would take a long time. So I'm risking my life to bring you this. It's like when I do those lives from the Bay. How much does flying to New York and Florida twice next season worry the 49ers? I think they're probably going to stay back east. At least, hopefully they can get the 2 Florida games. I think it's Tampa and Miami back to back. Because if the 49ers get Tampa and Miami back to back, then what you'll see is them stay probably in Bradenton, Florida, which is over there near that Tampa area. And they've trained there before. I think they did it between the Baltimore and New Orleans games. One last look. We're done with the deepest escalator in Europe. I did not trip. I did not fall. I have made it, and we're going to be working our way out of the subway right now. You guys rode the subway in Prague with me. That's fun. It's 49ers golden hour. Now, when we get out of this train, I don't think it's going to be golden hour anymore. I think we could say it'll be dusk. It'll firmly be dusk when we get out of the underground here. How much do I see Ricky Pearsall playing this year? With the top 3 wideouts coming, it might be limited. Yes, a little bit limited. I think that if all goes well, he'll grow into his role over the course of the season. I think that goes without saying. But you do have Ayuk, you do have Samuel, you do have Jawan Jennings coming back. But I do think that there is always a good opportunity for a receiver who can beat man coverage to play, especially on 3rd down. Especially because we will see more 3 wide sets and even more 4 wide sets when they really need to beat man coverage, because they really trust Brock Purdy to be able to sling that football around. We're out of the train, and we got another nice church. This is called Peace Square. Náměstí Míru. Wanted to show you guys a nice tram here in Prague. We might get to see the back of one right there. I think it's still golden hour. Clock on the church tells me that it's about 8:30. a good time. And I can make a nice walk to the apartment. Somebody put that question again. Kid Icarus, you say, let's see if we get a response. I would like to see the question again because I didn't see it. I'm literally doing what I think nobody else does, so you can forgive me for missing a question here or there. Get a little bit jaywalking on here in Prague. I'm good with it. I jaywalk in San Francisco too. I know that it upsets some of the small town people, but I think we'll live with it. I don't think I'm harming anybody. Possible lineman move where they put me. No, I don't think McKivitz is a center. You know, center. At center, you can talk about guys like John Feliciano, who's actually played there before. And that's another thing about the evolution of Brock Purdy and this offense is this is what I wonder. And I don't think it's going to happen to a full degree, but I wonder if some more control and autonomy will be given to Brock Purdy to call out and manage the protections at the line of scrimmage, because that's the center's job in a Shanahan system. That's why Alex Mack was with the Shanahan at 3 different stops. From Cleveland to Atlanta to the 49ers. Shanahan needs his center. That's as important as the quarterback in many ways because of what he can cerebrally bring to the table and what he must cerebrally bring to the table. And I think that it might have been an issue in the Super Bowl because we saw a lot of miscommunications. Pass protection. 9 quarterback pressures came unblocked on blitzes from the Chiefs. And a lot of that has to go back to the center. So the 49ers have to make sure Jake Brendel's got that buttoned up. They can't let they can't sit there and watch Jake Brendel get blown up on 3rd and short when they need some muscle to fight off some of these more powerful interior linemen. So that's why I always say that center is a potential position of upgrade for the 49ers, but it's only potential until you find an actual upgrade. Here's some of the tree-lined streets that I love. Now we're out of the tourist area of Prague, so the people that you see here are more than likely locals. Got the Black Sheep cocktail bar. Got cute little quiet cafes. Oh, and this, by the way, this is American Street where we're on right now. See that? Americka 32. So the street is named the United States of America. Just so happens to be where I'm walking through. We're almost at the apartment, so I'm gonna sign off when I get there so you guys don't know exactly where I live. What are the best burger spots in Prague? It's a good question. I don't really get burgers here, but the burger scene has really been improving. I mean, I've been coming here for over 30 years. And early on, that was right after the communist revolution, like the revolution from communism into democracy. Early on, when more Western food items like burgers were introduced, there weren't many good burgers, but now there are some really good ones. We were in the little castle town today. I'm sure that you saw that video. We ate there and I got some order envy when I saw the burgers, this big double cheeseburger, get taken out to another table. So I'll do some burger scouting in Prague when I have a little bit more time. So this is where I'm gonna continue on American Street probably. Maybe I'll turn. As you can see, a lot of people eating. Prague is famous for its really colorful buildings, but as you know, early May is such a good time to visit because it's not too hot, not too many tourists, and a lot of people eating outside. Good fountain works here. This is where I got it. I think I'm gonna go this way. Always have to decide the best route, but I think we got one more block south in us. Zanzibar, what a nice spot. I went to Zanzibar last year. We were there on our honeymoon. Island in Africa, part of Tanzania. All right, I'm ready for more 49ers questions here for the last stretch of the walk. What do we talk about? First, we talk about more passing than running. We think that the adaptability of the 49ers offense is going to stay there, but it's just going to be more pass focused. They're going to continue work in the middle of the field, but they might even push the deep ball more just because of the increased assortment of weapons that they have. So see the versatility of the 49ers offense increasing, and that matches the true versatility of the city. I think you guys have seen so much, and we've been walking for, what, 35 minutes here. Now, there's a chance this might be the way to go. There's a chance you guys will see a cool little Prague tram if we go this way, so how about we do it? It's getting a little dark now. It's so nice to be in streets where I am not just swallowed by thousands of tourists. I could actually talk about the Niners here. So we have so many different little nuanced things that, and one really overt thing that's changing about this offense, and that is the shift to a throw first offense. And the fulcrum, the centerpiece of everything is Brock Purdy. And that's why I talk so much about the pass protection. That's why, this goes back to the Jimmy Garoppolo era. I talked a lot about the pass protection, how it needed to get better. And it really did get better starting in that 2021 season. Famous Czech right here. We'll talk about him a little bit more. Jan Masaryk, the first president of Czechoslovakia. Tomáš Masaryk, as you could see here, his name, he lived in that house for a little bit of a while, from 1886 to 1889. He is known as the founding father of Czechoslovakia, and there's actually a statue of a bust of Tomáš Masaryk in San Francisco in Golden Gate Park in the Rose Garden. He had an American wife, and he lived in that villa right behind me for those 3 years from 1886 to 1889. But just the move forward to pass forwardness for the 49ers, it's made possible by the fact that Brock Purdy is such an effective pivot point. And the last thing I really want to talk about schematically is the shift to what Kyle Shanahan wanted to do back when he drafted Trey Lance, and that was find a quarterback who could threaten with his legs. He didn't necessarily want Lance to run a ton. He had to make him run a ton because Lance couldn't really throw well. But he wants a quarterback who can compromise the defense with his threat to run, even on the read option. Brock Purdy's a threat to run. He's faster than Trey Lance. He's one of the quickest quarterbacks in the league. That's why we talk about the 10-yard split so often with Brock Purdy, because it really is sensational. This 10-yard split would indicate that he runs a 4.4 to 4.5 40. He's more at a 4.7, but his 10-yard split is quicker than that. So the quickness of Purdy opens up options for the 49ers offense because he is able to freeze outside linebackers. He's able to freeze safeties. He's able to make the defense think about an extra thing. And look who the 49ers signed as backup quarterbacks this year. Josh Dobbs, a guy who can also make a defense think a little bit with his legs. And Tanner Mordecai, the undrafted free agent, the rookie out of Wisconsin. He can also make a defense think twice. So Purdy's a dual threat. That's all you need is a dual threat. You don't need somebody to run for 800 yards at that quarterback position, especially when he throws as well as Brock Purdy. But when he can be a threat to run, occasionally on a designed run, doesn't really even have to happen. It just has to be a threat. And when he can escape to, cool view behind me, a little bit, you can't really see it on camera, but when he can escape to extend plays and create out of structure, that's when a quarterback becomes truly dangerous. And that's one thing that Brock Purdy really gave the 49ers that Jimmy Garoppolo didn't. That was, I think, the one true area of added explosiveness that the 49ers offense saw. Brock Purdy created so much more off schedule. Shanahan's not going to design around the off schedule stuff, but he'll be able to get to more of his game plan because Purdy will bail the 49ers out with his off schedule abilities. I've seen some Russell Wilson comparisons. I think some of those are fair, obviously from more prime Russell Wilson when he was younger. When my dad finishes his marathon tomorrow here in Prague, the after party is here if you want to swing by. If you're in Prague, everybody's welcome. And then you'll have a nice view off the terrace to there. But right now, it is the night before. So good luck to him. Good luck to my dad. Alan Lombardi running the marathon here in Prague tomorrow. You can track him. I'll keep you guys updated. And hopefully you're well informed about how that 49ers offense might be shifting here in the year 2024. Wanted to say hello to everybody from Prague. Hope you also enjoyed the tour. It was a nice little 40-minute commute on my part, and we're making it back to the apartment. Look at these streets. And look at that view. Everybody take care.